All right, y'all. It's the morning hustle with Head Crack and me, your girl L'Oreal. And we are locked in on a Friday with my girl Legally Hype with Don't Believe, with Believe the Hype. Excuse me.
You
They
gotta
got to
believe
believe.
it. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it.
So what's going on? Our legal expert, I am Legally Hype. Tell us what's up for this week.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so this week we got some good stuff this week. Okay, so boom. So first thing we got is your boy Tory Lanez had went back to jail for a little bit.
Oh my God. Everybody was talking about Tory Lanez. This
Yeah.
situation is getting so messy, out of control. But I know you're going to give us the scoop and the inside scoop on what's happening.
I'm gonna do that for you. I got you. I got you. And then we're also gonna talk about, so I don't know if you heard, but Amir Locke, they decided not to press charges on the officer who shot him during the
Disgusting.
no-knock warrant entry. So I got to break that down for you one time for the one time.
Right. So, okay, let's start on the bad news first, right? Let's start with Amir because this was a super sad story. Happened in Minnesota. It was a no knock warrant, to my understanding, and the cop was not charged at all.
Yeah, so this is in Minneapolis. So basically, the facts of the case or the facts of this situation as we know it is the police, they got a no-knock warrant from the judge. They go to execute the warrant at this home. They walk into the home. Apparently, the victim was sleeping on the couch simultaneously as the police enter the house. The victim pulls out his gun, and within a matter of 10 seconds of this whole situation, the victim, Amir Locke, is shot and he is now deceased. And so the attorney general in Minneapolis said that they're not going to press charges because they did not feel they could prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah, so it's a hard one. But I think when it comes to the case of no knock warrants, this is a whole timeline case. So it really starts at the point where the police officers got the warrant, whether or not they executed the warrant properly, right? Did they wait enough time when they went into the house before they shot and things like that. So prior Supreme Court cases have said like, you need to give at least like 15 to 20 seconds. Like you need to let there be notice to the victim, about 15, 20 seconds before you're supposed to be busting your move. But since it's a no knock warrant, they didn't have to give notice. They opened the door with a key, ran into the house. So the prosecutor felt like there were too many factors involved in that perhaps a jury would not have felt that the police officer was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Personally, I feel like that's not your job. Your job is to get justice for things that deserve justice. And you let the trier of fact, be that the jury or the judge, decide whether or not there are enough facts to say that this was a criminal act. So
now, did he didn't fire at them at all, did he?
No. So at the time that the officers entered the house, when he pointed his gun at the officer, allegedly, his finger wasn't even on the trigger.
Oh my goodness. And did they find anything in the house?
So I'm not sure about those facts, but I do know that Amir was not mentioned in the warrant. He was not a person of interest. He just happened
so
to
he
be at the
wasn't even. No way.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why you got to watch the company you keep.
This is so unfortunate. So what can the family do moving forward? Is this the last say so? Can they appeal, or is there other ways that they could go about getting some justice?
So there will likely be a civil litigation, right? There will be a civil case. Ben Crumpy all in the mix, so she gonna get a little bit of money, right? But that's nothing compared to your child, right? I'm a mom, so I know how it is. If something happened to my son, it'd be on and cracking, period. The other part about it is that because no charges have been filed yet, and there's no statute of limitations on murder. I guess I don't know if it depends, like we're in their district, like what level of murder, right, they're charging them with, but they can definitely file a civil case, and it's still possible. They could bring it to a grand jury, right, and a grand jury can say, we looked at it and we think there is something here,
right?
But I think the prosecutors in that area, first of all, half their police force already in jail, right, or should be on their way, because them 3 boys that was with Chauvin, they got convicted, but I don't think they went to jail yet. So We'll
Whoa,
see about
yeah.
that. So I'm pretty sure they're not trying to lock everybody up because they only got about 2 people left. But the thing about it is, since charges haven't been brought yet, there's still a chance. Once you go to court and the state loses, they don't get a second bite at the apple. That is over with after that. So it's still a chance, but it's likely they're not gonna press charges. They're just gonna probably go the civil route and hopefully change the legislation there. But I did hear that starting Friday, starting today,
Yeah.
no knock warrants have been completely banned in Minneapolis. But Lil Jacob said that last time, and he was sadly mistaken. So I just hope he read the fine print this time, because we don't want to have no more issues with this situation.
No, we definitely do not. We do not want to see another black man killed at the hands of the police who's supposed to be protecting us now. Let's talk about Tory Lanez. Now, this is a story that does not seem to be going away anytime soon. We done heard 59 million versions of this story. But Tory Lanez, this time, his bail went up yet again for violating two protective orders. Now, what were those protective orders exactly?
So basically, the protective orders was that he could not have any type of contact with Meg Thee Stallion, and he could not be harassing her, anything like that. And he was in violation.
So yeah,
But
I
guess how he
seen that.
violated?
Yeah, not only did he reach out to her on social media, he also showed up to a place where she was, and he knew he wasn't supposed to be. So they raised his bail, correct?
So yes. So this what happened. So first of all, y'all need to watch what y'all tweet, because like that is like the best evidence ever. Like attorneys love social media evidence, right? Because it's anytime that information can be flipped and turned into wherever it want to be turned into. So you need to be careful about what you tweet and post and stuff like that, because you be telling on yourself. But yes, so first and foremost, Tory was tweeting, and the judge said, well, it sounds like you're tweeting about Megan to me. And I said, you cannot be harassing her. And that's harassment. So you're in violation of that protective order. He didn't even mention her name. So that's why I'm saying you got to be careful what you tweet, because y'all be out here trying to be slick, thinking y'all smarter than these judges or these attorneys, and you're absolutely not, or you wouldn't be in the situation you're in right now. So just keep it simple. Keep your business to yourself. Tell your best friend and get a diary, because we're going to find the information. In addition to that, he was in violation. I believe like the baby had brought him on stage as a surprise guest or something like that, and Megan was also performing in that situation. And
I was there,
also,
child. It was at Rolling Loud in Miami, and they tried to disrespect her while they was on stage at that.
Oh no, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
See, yeah, so that's why you had to pay another $100K to get out of jail the other day, because you are not supposed to be around her. You should not be talking about her, talking to her, and he's also not allowed to talk about the case. So Tory just been in all kind of violation, and the judge was sick of it. So he was like, you can go to jail and you're going to give us some more money.
Right. So, okay. Now, there was one thing that he did put out a few weeks ago. We talked about it. And now it seems as though the courts are letting this information out. And that's the DNA being found inconclusive on the gun, because there's 4 different prints. They also said his prints aren't on the magazine. Does that really matter when it comes to this case, in this situation? Because they said it's inconclusive means they can't use it, correct?
No, that just means that they can't say who, like, they can't just pin it on him, right? If there are more than one set of fingerprints on an item, it's really hard for me to say, well, you were the person who shot, even though it got my fingerprints, your granny fingerprints, and your auntie. Well, how do we know who was the final shooter? So again, when you go to a court, the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The only thing that the defense has to do is give some sort of reasonable doubt to the jury. So although, right, it may be 4 sets of fingerprints on the gun, right? I could have had you load my clip for me, right? And then I put my gun in my pocket, right? There's still evidence. Again, you're looking at a timeline and you're looking at the whole situation. So who had it last, right? Did anybody see you shoot? You know what I mean? What happened right after the shooting? So the jury still has to hear, or whoever the trier of fact is, they still have to hear all of those facts,
right,
leading up to the incident, to determine if he is guilty of the felony charges that he's been charged with.
Okay, so now if they don't find Tory Lanez guilty, if in any account, right? The name that keeps popping up is her best friend Kelsey, who also was in the altercation. Would there be a case against Kelsey? Would it just be over? what would happen moving forward if Tory Lanez was found not guilty?
So it depends. It depends on the evidence that the DA has. 9 times out of 10, if they have some evidence on Kelsey that made them believe that she was a participant in any capacity, they probably either have already contacted her and either like offered her a deal, like what's good, what you want to do, you want to go to jail, or you want to tell what happened. Or, they like, okay, we're going to hold off. If things go cool, we might let you go. But if you don't participate, then you're going to be on that stand later too. So what you want to do?
Ooh, so it's gonna be messy out here.
This hoe, Tory is messy.
It is right. Is her case public? I'm a little confused about how certain information gets out, but then the judge kind of penalizes Tory Lanez for saying certain information as well. If it's public, shouldn't that be okay?
So it depends. It's such a lawyer answer, right? It depends. So the thing about it is there are some evidence, right, which is sealed, and they're like, we don't want it out to the public. So the attorneys can file a motion to seal it and be like, want to keep this private. Generally, though, especially in state cases, the information is public. The thing about it is you don't want your client, especially as a defendant, going out there trying to try their case in the media, because that stuff can get twisted in so many different type of ways.
As we see.
Exactly, right? Which is why he got in trouble for them tweets. You thought you was slick and you wasn't. So now you're in trouble. This is why it's like, don't talk about the case, because what you're going to do is you get these couch detectives, right, that go looking for evidence or thinking they found evidence or whatever the case may be. And the whole thing gets tried in the court of public opinion as opposed to the actual court system. And that's what we want, right? We want to legitimize our court systems. So you do not want to, like, if you are a defendant, just shut up. Like, the only time you need to be talking is when you're talking to your lawyer about what happened. You don't need to tell nobody what you did. You don't need to prove your case to nobody but your attorney. Let your attorney do the work. Y'all be out here doing all this talking as if the prosecutor is not going to get everything you talked about and some. And then you be getting yourself in trouble. Stop telling on yourself.
Come on now. Take a page out of Chris Brown's book, what he did a few weeks ago. He stayed quiet until that evidence came out. And he was like, who raped who now?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. If everybody was as quiet as Jenny Thomas, we would all be okay. We'd be getting away with our stuff too.
Well, thank you so much. You're always clearing things up. I know in the next couple weeks, we're going to have a ton of things to talk about. Black China is going to court with Kim Kardashian and them. And then you also got R. Kelly gearing up for his trial. So it is going to be, look, you get your head in them books so we can keep picking your brain. I know that's right. Shout out Legally Hype. Let them know where they can follow you, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
You already know I am Legally Hype. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. But I told y'all Twitter a dangerous place, so I'll be staying away from y'all over there.
That's right. Believe the hype with I am Legally Hype. Let's go. Morning Hustle Show.
We are the Morning Hustle.